What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PC Tech Review 101, coming back to you with another video. Today's video is going to be about the ultimate $100 budget build in 2018. Yes, this old HP Pro is going to look like this. No. And this is the end result over here. This is how the custom build is going to look. Only for $100 you could buy all these parts that I'm going to tell you about and build a nice looking gaming computer in 2018 and play some of the modern games at 1080p quality. I'm going to go through the list of all the parts and what I used to turn that old HP Pro 3500 mid-tower into a full-blown gaming computer like this. As you know, in about a couple of weeks there's going to be some big titles coming out like Battlefield 5 and Shadow of Tomb Raider. And a lot of you guys out there always wondered if you should get into gaming PC, but you saw the prices and you see what the store is selling for. But I'm here to tell you that it's actually cheaper to get into PC gaming than a console. If you really shop around and know what you're doing and do some research, you could build a computer that can handle today's modern games at 1080p quality for around 100 to 200 bucks, depends on your budget. Of course, the more you spend, the better performance you get. In this case, it only cost me $100. This beautiful gaming computer. It's very simple, and I'm gonna go over the parts right now. Okay, and I'm now going to go over the list of the parts that I used to make this an ultimate budget built PC for $100. For my core, I used an HP Pro 3500 mid-tower, which cost me $20, which I found on Craigslist. This tower came with a 3rd generation i3 3240, which is 3.2 gigahertz processor. It also came with a 250 gigabyte hard drive, 4 gigs of RAM, and also a built-in Wi-Fi adapter. All these parts I was able to transfer into this new case without any wire or soldering cutting or anything like that. It fit perfectly, and it worked with the front panel wiring of any modern case because it has the same spread as a regular custom computer, a motherboard, which has all the connections for the power, reset, HD, hard drive, HD LED, and so on and so forth. For $10 more, I added 4 gigabytes of RAM extra to make a total of 8 gigabytes of RAM. For the power supply, I used the Thermaltake 430 watt non-rated power supply, which had the 6-pin connection for to give the extra power for a graphics card. In this budget build, with this power supply, you're not going to be able to put in a really powerful graphics card, but some of the low to mid graphics card will be perfect for this to handle that. I used a DIY case Diamond F1, which has a glass window here, and it cost me 25 bucks. And the most expensive part was the Gigabyte GTX 750 Ti 2GB graphics card. That was 30 bucks, which was the Windforce with dual fan, and this is the better one because it does require you a 6-pin adapter to work, which is a perfect combination for this budget build. And it runs really good and handles all the newer titles at 1080p at good frame rates where it's playable too, where it doesn't stutter, and that's the most important thing here, as these new titles are coming out, and this will be no problem to handle the new games, as they have the same requirements as the previous Battlefield 1 and the Rise of the Tomb Raider. So let's go over the HP Pro, what's inside, and how I was able to adapt that into this case, which was very easy. Okay, so this is pretty much how it looks inside this HP Pro 3500 3rd generation i3. I just want to show you the key things that you want to look for when you want to do a full transfer. Not all, you know, OEM desktops, name brand ones, will work with a custom case, and you know, it's really not worth it. So that's why you got to do your homework and do a research. The main thing is to look at the breakdown on the motherboard. So this motherboard is fully compatible with any custom case, and that's very important. You're going to use pretty much everything here. This motherboard has everything you need, and you'll be surprised all the things it comes with. So for instance, one thing you're looking for is you want to make sure it has a standard 24-pin adapter for the motherboard, because when you buy, you know, a bigger power supply to handle that graphics card for a custom case and longer wiring, you wouldn't be able to use this power supply because it's only like 300 watts and the wires won't reach long enough to go around. Plus it doesn't have a 6-pin adapter for a graphics card. You don't have to use a 430 watt power supply like I did. You could use something more powerful, and that's where, you know, your budget comes in handy if you want to spend a little bit more and put in a bigger power supply. That way in the future you're able to get a better graphics card. I think with my build, that 750 that I used, 2 gigabytes, is pretty much, you know, the most powerful card I could use, because if you put anything higher it just wouldn't, you know, wouldn't work, or it would just stutter because there's not enough power. So like I said, we have the 24-pin. That's what you want to look for. So if this motherboard that you want to transfer has that, you're good to go. And the other thing is, you want to see the, let me see if I can show you here better, and you have the 4-pin motherboard adapt also here. So if you have these two, you're already in good hands as far as transferring this motherboard to a custom case. This is your front panel audio, which is also exactly the same as it would come in a custom case. It's exactly the same pin, same thing, so it'll fit right in your monitor. This is going to be your front USB connection, and it's also the same. You can see that it's exactly the same as it will be on a custom case, so you're good there. And then the last thing here is, let me just unplug these SATA cables. You could see you could fit up to four hard drives here, or if 3 hard drives and a DVD drive, depends on your case. In my case, it did not have a DVD drive slot, so it's just a clean look. This is your front panel right here, and like I said, after doing research and finding the right OEM computer, I found that this front panel setup is identical to any of the current custom motherboards that you go and you buy, like an Asus or MSI or ASRock, etc., etc., if you know what I'm saying. So if you look up this motherboard, the model on Google, and you type in front panel, you'll give you this breakdown, and I was able to find this breakdown, a picture in there, and everything worked perfectly. I was able to get the power, the reset to work, the HD LED light, and HD light also. So all 4 things matched up beautifully with the case without any cutting or any splicing. It was just a perfect fit. This is a smaller motherboard, a mini ITX, so I used a smaller case so it fits just right and it doesn't look too small in a bigger case, but it's really up to you if you want to get a bigger case to fit stuff. Also, this particular board has only 2 slots for RAM, so you could do 4 gigabytes each, so pretty much max out on 8 gigs, which is plenty to play all the current modern games, unless you get into 4K, and when you get into that, of course, you want to spend more money. And you know, you're gonna reuse this. I didn't even change the thermal paste, but you could reuse this fan just the way it is. Just clean up the motherboard, put it in like a snug, and you're ready to go. This thing also came with a Wi-Fi. Where is it? I don't see it here, but the motherboard I used came with a Wi-Fi built-in card, which I also used for the build that I had for the case, and I moved everything over and I put it in like a snug, and the Wi-Fi works fantastic. So I used all this RAM, processor, Wi-Fi adapter, and the hard drive that it came with, and that saved me a lot. All of that for 20 bucks. That's a big saving for an i3. Now, if you guys know anything about, if you're gonna buy custom parts and you're not buying a overclockable processor with an overclockable motherboard, there's really no need to spend all that extra money when everything could come all in one shot in here. So this is pretty much for the inside, and let me get into what it looks like now once I transfer it into the new build. And this is pretty much what the new build looks like. There you have it, the Thermaltake 430 watt power supply. And this is what I want to show you. This is the front panel wires from this case, which matched up exactly. All 4 connections matched perfectly with this, and I was able to use all the features that this case came from. Right here is the front USB ports. This case also came with a USB 3.0, but this motherboard does not have that connection for the front panel, so therefore it's, you know, it's not used. I just have it back. You could always buy a USB 3.0 PCI Express card and put it here, so you get more 3.0s here, and then you could get the front wire that was from here, connect directly here, so if you want to have that feature. This is the Wi-Fi card that I was talking about. This motherboard came with a Wi-Fi card. I ran the wire underneath and behind and brought the adapter all the way up on top right here to get the best possible reception. This case came with a blue LED 120mm fan exhaust. I reused exactly the same CPU cooler. I actually got a little lazy and I didn't even open it up and change the thermal paste because the temperatures ran pretty decent in games. So you could always change that and put a new thermal paste, but I didn't. And this is the Gigabyte Windforce GTX 750 Ti 2GB graphics card, which is perfect for this build. And the game's running really nice. So this is how the build looks like. Oh, this is the front audio jack for the front panel. This case also fits exactly like a snug. No cutting, everything just fit perfectly. And of course, there's the LED bar that I used on my own. I had laying around, and a couple extra fans that I mentioned before. And you have the two 4GB RAM sticks here for a total of 8GB. This particular motherboard only supports up to 8GB of RAM, but it's plenty for what we're trying to do here. So that's pretty much it. This is the budget build that I was talking about. And now let's test it in some of the modern titles on 1080p and see how it does. Stay tuned. Okay, the first game we're going to test it on is Far Cry 5, one of the more harder games to run. Yes, we're running on 1080p. You see all the temperatures and the clock speeds and everything is here in front of you. As you could see that once you're in the game, the CPU gets up to 3.4 gigs, and that's pretty much what it's going to stay on during the game. So it does have the turbo technology. And this is on the lowest settings on 1080p. Definitely playable. As I'm sure you know that by now that to run this game at 60 FPS you need to spend a lot of money. Just the graphics card alone to run it would be like a GTX 1060 or something, and that's pretty expensive. That's more money than this whole build. So, but it runs pretty good, no issues at low 1080p settings. We're gonna try medium also. So let's just see how this looks for now. Let me just show you the settings here. There it is, 1080p. We are right at the limit here, just a little over. This is what's available, and that's where we're at. So, and we're on the lowest, everything turned off. but it's playable. It doesn't stutter. It looks good. Can you tell a difference between 30 and 60 FPS? I don't know. But for $100 is not bad. And of course, I'm going to be using my same camera that I used to shoot the video with. Because I don't do the in-game recording, because you will lose frame rates. And I wanted to give you the true feeling of how this thing would run in real time, without any frame loss. So what you see is what you're going to get. Of course, the one thing you could overclock is the graphics card, and I did not. This is just running on stock. I'm not gonna go here. See a cutscene. Let me just go up to medium settings, guys, and finish up this game. Medium. I won't even mess with these two. I mean, otherwise it's gonna, you know, really not be good playing. So we're just trying to run this game at 1080p without stuttering. So we're in medium settings right now. It does look a little sharper. We're still at around 30 FPS. Let's see what happens when I see some bad guys. There's a guy here. I'll sneak up on him. Will you notice? Nope. Dig down. Ooh, that's a kind of glitch. You saw him disappear? Look at that. We got a glitch, guys. I finally got him. Wow. Anyone else? That was some kind of glitch. The guy just wouldn't die. Look at that. We're testing the computer and we got a glitch. I mean, that's it's pretty much how it's gonna run on medium settings. Ooh, I'm on fire. Come on, let me see a couple of more bad guys. Okay, guys, and that's Far Cry 5 on a $100 system here. And here is Battlefield 1. We're gonna start off at 1080p. These are my settings, and on the lowest settings. Let's see what this thing could do. It's probably one of the better games to run on this thing. On low settings you can get around 60 to 70 FPS. Runs pretty good. Said the requirements for the new Battlefield are the same as Battlefield 1, so you definitely would be in good hands with this thing and enjoy it comfortably. This game, be able to play it no problem. Oh yes, I'll be using DirectX 11 on this one. DirectX 12 is still not good, not even on the most modern builds. It seems like DirectX 11 is still better for this game, even with fancier, newer stuff. So this is the best result. Yeah, you see, no problem here. Just gonna do low settings, and then I'm gonna go to ultra. Oops, shoot my own guys here. Won't be using any of these. Let's be realistic. We want to just run on 1080p and won't use those settings as they dramatically bring down your frames and make the game stutter. So right now we're on ultra, and we just want to be able to play where there's no big stuttering or anything. It's a little slower than the last setting of the lowest setting, so I think probably high to medium setting will be your best bet, but we're gonna run on ultra just to see what happens. Right now, of course, we're slow because we're about to die. That's it.
New killing machines like the Tamper changed the shape of the war overnight. Luckily, they were mostly on our side. Mostly. Our boys in the church are overrun. We need to push through. PBI are counting on us. Use that SMG! Quick the ground! Keep going, driver!
As you could see, definitely playable on ultra settings. It's still good hardware. An i3 combined with a GTX 1050 Ti. It's very good. More than you need. Also, this will definitely handle any of the emulators. Alright guys, and that's Battlefield 1. And here's Witcher 3, still one of our more harder games to run. We're at 1080p on the lowest possible settings.
Ever tell you about this sorcerer I knew? Couldn't stop talking about how useful they are as creatures.
Everything turned to the lowest. Graphics, lowest. Full screen 1080p. Post-processing, everything off. Then we're just gonna do one more setup on medium, which is the best setup I think is possible for this game, for best graphic looking and still playable frame rates. Yep. Go through this field. I know the frame rates like to drop around here. There's a lot of dead bodies. When you see dead bodies, the frame rates tend to drop around here, but it's still a very playable game.
Too far afield this.
Uh-oh.
Take it easy.
There's my buddy.
Slower. What now?
Definitely playable on the lowest, and it still looks good. I mean, some of you guys just getting into gaming PCs, and this still looks great, even on the lowest 1080p settings. Okay, now I'm just gonna do the final setting here, medium, which I think is the best for this game. Start with this. We're gonna add that. Turn these all on here, and again we're gonna leave all these off here because it will affect the gameplay. We just want it to look nice and perform nice at the same time, and medium settings all the way through. Okay, so this is going to be your best look here, and the game is still playable. Oh, there you are. Oh, I don't want to go here. Let me just do another fight scene here. Some of these water creatures. I'll wrap this up. I'm not gonna go into the town because it's gonna be loading and things like that. Just want to give you guys a rough idea what you could expect from a build like this. I'll do another fight scene here. Yeah, and you'll get here in the 30s. That's the reality here. Once you get around some people, you'll be in your 30s, which is definitely still playable. And that's pretty much as low as you would go. You could go on high settings on this, but then it's really, you know, not too enjoyable to play. So I'm just gonna pretty much cut it off here on medium. Let's see around a couple of town people how it looks. What's up? What's up, buddy? Everybody's crying. What's going on here? It's not good. And that's Witcher 3, guys. And now, Rise of the Tomb Raider. We're just gonna play on medium settings here, which is the best looking settings that you could do with this setup, and still be able to play and enjoy the game. Here it is on custom. These are the settings that I used. Medium, I got these three off and these on, and the game looks great with decent frame rates. Sure, you could turn things down to low and probably get to 50 to 60 FPS, but it would just look really dull. So this is the best look, and again the requirements are very similar to the new game, just a little bit higher, but you'll be able to handle it, no problem with this.
It was said the prophet's tomb was hidden in the cliffs above one of the forgotten cities. Legend speaks
One of the better looking games, guys. I love this game. Too bad you could never get these birds. They always somehow avoid. You just can't kill them. Oh well.
Could this really be it?
Again, we're just trying to get this game the best looking possible with good playable frame rates with no stuttering, and this is it on medium.
Incredible. A secret entrance. Dad could have seen this.
Again, guys, this is on 1080p. I don't know if I showed you that before, but there it is. DirectX 12. We could go on higher, maybe on 2K, but it won't be playable. Let's do this cutscene here. It's very nice. Oh no! I can't believe that. I got a little excited there. Looks great.
They're already here. Got to get inside.
Oh, that looks great here. Look at that. Wow. Just made it there.
Order of Trinity pursued the Prophet and his people relentlessly until finally confronting them.
Well, as you could see, yet another good performance on some of the harder game to run, all for $100. As long as you know the parts are right, it'll work. And that's Tomb Raider. And the last game, of course, is gonna be Grand Theft Auto 5. Still great game and pretty tough to run, but a little bit easier than others. We are on high settings, custom high settings. Let me just show you guys here. Here we are, 1080p. These are the settings that I used for the best gameplay and graphic look here. Hold on a second. Let's see what we got here. No, I see we're during a scene here. We weren't able to go in. It's pretty much the settings on high. Texture quality, it could go on high, but it's gonna go over the 2 gigs threshold of the video memory, which could be turned off, the threshold, but I'm gonna leave it like that because I don't want to go over. So these are pretty much the settings I used for the game to look good on 1080p and at the same time to be playable frames. So this is probably the best settings you're gonna get on 1080p. So if you guys want to get into like game like this, Grand Theft Auto 5, which you know, for PC you could do some mods. There's tons of stuff to do with this game, and this game is fantastic. You wonder why that Rockstar hasn't come up with the new one yet, because they're making so much money off this game. I mean, this game is like timeless. I mean, it's been out for so many years, and people are getting into gaming PC just for this game. So, and this is a good starting computer for somebody. And yes, you could do some light video editing and game recording with this thing, no problem. You get a bigger hard drive, you could get a SSD drive for that fast performance, fast loading. You could get a better power supply, get a better graphics card, and don't forget that this motherboard is upgradable processors. This is a 3rd generation i3. You could still upgrade to a 3rd generation i5 or even an i7. So this thing has got a lot of potentials. It depends which budget, which used, you know, desktop you're gonna buy. It may come with an i5, and you could use that for your budget build. I mean, sky is the limit with these factory built computers. And very important, just do your homework, do the research on the motherboard, which is all available on Google. You could just Google it and see how the motherboard looks. And if you see the 24-pin adapter and the 4-pin adapter on the motherboard is the same as a regular power supply, you're in good hands. The rest you just figure out which front panel pins are for your power setting, and you're good to go. You don't even have to match everything up. As long as you have your power button working, you're good to go, and that's very easy to find out. So this is pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and this was helpful for you guys, especially trying to get into some gaming PC in 2018, as the parts are really expensive nowadays, and with the graphic card pricing and RAM, it's really an expensive thing to get into. But there's ways around it, and you don't have to have the best parts around and the high-end stuff. You could still run these games at really good settings, as you could see. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave any comments or any other ideas that you might have for budget builds. And thank you for watching.